Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. We are not live, but we are recording. Massive, well, not massive, but a 5-game slate in the NBA on Christmas Day, coming to you guys on Christmas Eve. It's about 10:30ish at the time of the recording. Won't be live tomorrow, of course, because it's Christmas. So I'm taking the day off, but I do have some looks for tomorrow, 3 bets, and a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. So as always, we will get through the entire slate. I'll break down all 5 games, give you guys my thoughts on the side, the total, any player props from each game, let you guys know what are actually beneficial, and then we'll get up out of here. But so yeah, smash the like button as we get started as well. Let's jump into it. So first up, as always, we'll start with JaXon, your AI sports betting tool, and this is something that I want to make sure I share with you guys is that tomorrow on Christmas, this video will drop at midnight. So on Christmas Day, you will be able to use JaXon for free completely. There is no prompt that's needed. There's no coupon code that's needed. You will just be able to use the app and query whatever it is and ask JaXon whatever it is that you want. So outside of using the promo code in the description of the video, you guys get 100% free access. JaXon will be completely free tomorrow. So give it a try. Use your AI sports betting, come with as many questions as you possibly can to get that free access. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So on Tuesday, JaXon gave out 2 plays. The Oklahoma City Thunder minus the 5.5. We know what happened in that game. The Spurs did not come to play. They win the game outright. Didn't even need the 5.5 points. So that was a loser for JaXon. And then JaXon also liked Charlotte and Washington. The total was 231.5, and they did get to 235. So that was a winner. 2-2 day for JaXon. So we start the prompt off, and I'm gonna just do the basics as always. You can say instead of basics, but I always like to ask JaXon for a side in the total. So the side play is on Houston minus the 2.5. It says the Houston Rockets are significantly undervalued in this matchup, especially considering the statistical profile of both teams and the Lakers' current injury situation. Houston is a legitimate contender as a slight favorite against the Lakers team that's underperforming its underlying metrics. Who is overperforming its underlying metrics. So there's a bunch of things here about expected wins. The Rockets being 6, the Lakers being 16. Point differential, Rockets being 2nd, Lakers being 16th. Offensive rating, Rockets being 2nd, Lakers being 7th. Defensive rating, Rockets being 10th, Lakers being 24th. So it says elite efficiency. The Rockets ranked number 2 in the entire NBA in point differential. I just told you guys that, indicating that they're one of the most efficient teams in the NBA. Lakers overperformance, while the Lakers are a solid team, 19-9. They rank 16th in expected wins, suggesting they have been extremely lucky, boasting a massive 4.7 win differential. Defensive vulnerabilities. The Lakers defense is a major concern, ranking 24th in defensive rating. There's a huge vulnerability against the Houston Rockets' second-ranked offense. And then there's news, of course, injury concerns to Luka Doncic, who I think will play on the Christmas Day game. Jackson Hayes, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent. Rockets led by Alfred Sengun, built to exploit the Lakers' defensive holes, particularly against smaller guards and perimeter shooting. Blah, 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 blah. So there's a bunch of other things here, but check JaXon out if you guys are interested. The link is in the description. And the second play is on San Antonio and OKC over the 231.5 minus 122, it looks like on Bet Rivers. So it says, while OKC boasts the league's best defense, the offensive firepower on both sides combined with San Antonio's recent form points towards a high-scoring affair. So you got offensive firepower. The Spurs rank 5th in offensive rating at a 118.8. The Thunder rank 6th at 18.7. This is a clash of 2 top 6 offensive teams. The Spurs' recent surge over the last 18 games. The Spurs are top 5 offense, averaging 121 points per 100 possessions. This recent trend is critical, showing their offense is peaking. OKC's vulnerabilities. The Spurs are tied for 8th in 3-point percentage. And the news analysis highlights that OKC's primary defensive weakness is their 3-point defense. We talk about this all the time. San Antonio has the shooters to exploit this, which will open up the paint for their off-the-ball scores. Head-to-head, the most recent matchup between these two teams resulted in 130-110 Spurs victory, totaling 240 points, well over the current line of 231. So there's some more stuff here about the Spurs being the kryptonite to Oklahoma City, winning their last 2 meetings, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read all that. But if you guys are interested, even, and like I said, it's free. Check it out, man. Link is in the description if you guys want to do so. So with that being said, let's get busy, man. Let's jump into it. So first up, we'll go to the noon game. We got the Cavs. They will be in New York playing against the Knicks. Spread, I'm not even sure what this opened at, if I'm being completely honest. I can figure it out, though. Let's just double check real quick. So spread open with the Knicks laying 2.5. This line was all the way up to, I think, 6.5, 7. And, it started to come down a little bit. The total went up. It skyrocketed. This opened 230.5. It's all the way up to 239.5. So looking at the game, injury report wise, I think both teams will be pretty healthy. I'm expecting Jalen Brunson to be back. I'm expecting OG Anunoby to play as well. Cleveland's getting a bit healthier as well. They got Dean Wade, who's looking a little bit more like himself. Sam Merrill's been back. He's looked good in a couple games since he's played as well. So you look at this Cavs team, not great on the road, just 4-8 against the spread. We know that they're typically laying points when they're on the road. Only 3-7 against the spread in the last 10 games. This is the 3rd and 4th for the Cavs as well. They've only been road dogs twice this season. They went 1-1, both straight up and against the number. And then you start to look at the Knicks. We know how good they've been at home, 14-2 straight up and against the number at home. They covered 7 of their last 10 games. They're 9-3 against the spread this season when they're home favorites of less than double digits. And of course, these teams play earlier this season. The Knicks won that game outright, 119-111, as 2-point dogs to start the season. I think that was the first game of the season. So I'm looking at this, and I'm just the way that the Cavs are playing defense right now. I just took the Knicks team total. They've been super elite. I sent this out to the members earlier today. I think the number's still the same, 122.5. That's what I ended up playing here. So a large part of it is that I put this in the write-up. The play is based on, the Knicks offense, which is second in efficiency differential, 5th in overall effective field goal percentage. Now they get a pace up spot. The Cavs are 7th in pace over the last 5 games and on the full season. They're 3rd in pace in road games versus a pretty terrible defense. The Cavs' last 5 games are the 3rd worst defensive rated team at 122.3. They played the easiest strength of schedule, which is the cherry on top for me. They just beat the Pelicans. And then before they beat the Pelicans, that was a 4th and 6 for the Pelicans and second leg of back-to-back with travel as well. And then before that, they beat the Charlotte Hornets. So I'm not going to, tip my hat to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know that they're going through some injuries without Evan Mobley. They've been playing a lot faster. That's only going to bode up for as far as pace goes for the Knicks. We also know that the Knicks thrive off 3-point shooting. The 8th in frequency, 4th in accuracy overall. While the Cavs are the 5th worst 3-point defense in the league, the Knicks should be able to put 125 on the Cavs. So that's my thought process here. I initially wrote in my notes that, I think the over was the right play, just hate getting to the worst of the line. With Sam Merrill back, the offense has started to look a little bit better in the last few games. Granted, they were playing against Charlotte and New Orleans, and the New Orleans on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Cavs are 3-0 to the over in their last 3 games. So it's really difficult. The Knicks are 3-0. To the over in their last 3 Christmas games as well. Remember, they played against the San Antonio Spurs, and Wemby went crazy in that game last year. So that's my thought process there. If I'm looking, so I did bet the New York Knicks team total over 122.5. I think that they will be able to clear that number. So that's my thought process on that game. As far as player props in that game, if I'm playing anything, I'm looking at, I think the Knicks will be able to. I think they'll be able to score the basketball pretty easily. However, if I'm playing player props, though, I think we got to go over to Outlier really quickly. And link is in the description, as always, for Outlier if you guys are interested in checking it out. If I'm playing anything here, though, I like Sam Merrill. I feel like we're getting a discount on his number. And it's not that it's a super big discount, but I'm looking at, first couple games back. He did shoot 0 for 4 against Charlotte here in this game, but he got up. How many was it? It was 10 attempts in this game here against the New Orleans Pelicans. So it's only been 2 games since he's been back. You can see that this game was played on November the 17th. You can see that right here. But yeah, I like Sam Merrill in this matchup, man. Number is a little juice. I think it's like -135, but he's over in 7 of his 8 games this season where he's taken at least 7 threes. You can see on the full season here, he's averaging right at 8.1 attempts. So if I'm expecting, you can see the last few games that he's played, 16, 8, 9, 6, 9. You can say that this 4 game versus Charlotte was an outlier, and then 10 here. So if I'm expecting Sam Mills to get the attempts up, I'm expecting him to make them. He's averaged 7 attempts in his first 2 games back. You can see the 4 plus 10 divided by 2, 14 divided by 2 is 7. He scores 70% of his points. We know that from catch and shoot and above the break threes, and that's where the Knicks are 22nd in the NBA. So if I bet on a player prop, I think it's Sam Merrill more than anybody else in this spot. So 2 plays that I would like in that game. Also, always considering Jared Allen under his rebound prop as well. I think that's something to consider. We know that the Knicks are one of the better rebounding teams in the NBA. Jared Allen, because the Cavs don't play a lot of defense, you typically can play on Jared Allen to go under his rebound. So a couple looks in that game specifically that I would be looking towards. But yeah, they did drop the number on Jared Allen a little bit. He's down at 8.5. So we shall see. He gets a really tough matchup though. Knicks don't give up a lot of rebounds. They're top 5, I think. So all right, let's move to the next game. Trying to make this a little bit shorter. All right, so we got the Spurs and the Thunder, man. Get your popcorn ready. So the Oklahoma City Thunder are actually 0-2 against the San Antonio Spurs and pretty much undefeated. I think they got one other loss this season against the Portland Trailblazers earlier this year. It's going to be interesting. I think OKC will be fully healthy in this game. I think San Antonio will be fully healthy as well. And that's what you want. You want 2 healthy teams. The San Antonio team has looked really, really good. Really, really good. They're 10-5 straight up on the road, 6-8-1 against the number, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. And they're riding I think it's a 5-6 game win streak into this game if you take away the Knicks loss. In the Cup game, which isn't a quote-unquote official game. And then you got OKC, a perfect 14-0, straight up at home. They're 9-5 against the number, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games as well. They were playing the second leg of back-to-back. Of course, these two teams didn't, just played. If you're new to basketball, maybe you don't know that. But these two teams did just play against each other 2 nights ago or last night, whenever it is that you're watching the video. And Thunder were playing second leg of a back-to-back. The Spurs were kind of waiting for them. They had one day of rest and was coming off an easy win against the Wizards. Now you got the Spurs going to OKC. And OKC, just for what it's worth, they're just 1-4 against the number. They typically don't cover when they're playing unrested this season. Their wins so far this season when they're playing unrested are about 6 points. They lost to the Trailblazers outright, and then they lost to the Lakers. They beat the Lakers. That was the one game that they did play well. And they lost to the Timberwolves in this spot as well, and then the Spurs. So they got 4 losses on the season. 2 have come on the second leg of back-to-back. Now you have them super fired up, playing in their home environment. I like OKC early in this game, man. San Antonio is, like I said, they're 2-0 against them this season. Something no other team can say in the NBA. The Spurs are also really good as a road dog. They're 8-4 against the spread and 8-4 straight up when they're getting points this season. 6-4 straight up and against the number when they're road dogs, and they're not perfect, but 4-1 straight up and against the number if they're a dog and they have Wemby. And we know Wemby, does a lot for this team. OKC's been really, really struggling to score the basketball. But the thing that jumped out to me, and the Spurs are 2-0 to the over in their last 2 Christmas Day games as well. I was looking into those Christmas Day trends as well. The thing that really jumps out to me in this game, though, is when I went back and looked at it, OKC, and I watched this, they had a big, the Spurs had a big fourth quarter, scored 43 points. They ended up blowing the Oklahoma City Thunder out, beat them by 20, 43-28 in the fourth quarter. And it really was the 3-point shooting. They ended up shooting, OKC shot 40% from the 3-point line, but the Spurs shot 44%. So just with the variance in general, like you had a 25-point game from Keldon Johnson. I don't think that's going to happen again. Now, Keldon Johnson's not bad, but 25 points is a lot for him off the bench. Wemby didn't even do much. Like De'Aaron Fox only had 6, but Stephon Castle shot the ball really, really well, 4 for 6. And not to say that he can't do that again, but I just think that they shot the ball really, really well. And I was looking into some queries about, teams that are facing the same team, and they shot the ball really, really well from the 3-point line, specifically above 40%, and they typically see a little regression. I think that OKC will win the game. I do think this line opened, I think, at 10. It's come down to 9.5, depending on where you're shopping now. I do think OKC will give their best effort. You're already down 0-2, and a lot of people, I think, are going to take the Spurs in this game. And I get it. I completely get it. The Spurs look like the young Oklahoma City Thunder when they had James Harden and Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. I completely understand it. But I think OKC throws them. I think they throw their best punch early. I like OKC early in this game. OKC first quarter -2.5 is what I would play. I just expect them to push all the chips in the middle, get out to an early start. The Spurs have been really, really good early in games as well. So I'm expecting OKC behind their home crowd, understanding that they're 0-2 against this team. And, they got to get their leg back. And I think it starts early in this game. The longer the game goes on, because we know the Spurs are a pretty good three-point shooting team. And if OKC has any kind of deficiency, it is from the three-point line. To me, that's where it is. It ends up being OKC, the Spurs being able to knock down some threes. And that's going to be the variance in this game. If Spurs not making their threes, I think they can get blown out. But if the Spurs making their threes, it'll be a pretty tightly contested game, in my opinion. So I like OKC. I did bet them first quarter -2.5 to jump out in this game, get their lick back early. As far as player props in this game, this is really not like backed by a bunch of numbers. It just feels more like a gut play. And it's Alex Caruso over his 20, it's not 20 anything, 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Extremely low line. It's -115 on Caesars. I didn't bet it yet, but it's on my short list. I'm just expecting Alex Caruso to be out there. I expect him to play minutes. They got, the Spurs got a bunch of guards that they like to, interchange. I'm expecting him to play a bunch of minutes in this game. And, when Caruso plays 20 plus minutes this season, which, like I said, I'm expecting him to play about that many, he's going to make plays, in my opinion, offensively, defensively, assist-wise, grabbing boards. He's over in the 11.5 in 6 of his 10 games, so about 60%. 3 straight games when he's played at least 20 plus minutes. And the matchup is kind of middle of the pack. So I'm expecting Caruso to play. I think if he gets the opportunity, he will go over this number of 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It feels kind of low for Alex Caruso in this spot. So that's my thought process on this game. OKC first quarter, and then Alex Caruso over his 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Next one. Before we get there, all right, let's take a second. I'm going to hydrate. You hit the like button. All right? So, yeah, if you're somebody that typically hits the like button, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're somebody that my Los Angeles Lakers, who are getting 2.5 points now as a home dog, this total has skyrocketed. This total actually opened, I want to say that, let me just give you guys the number was 225.5 all the way up to 230.5. So about 5.5 points coming into the over. Lakers opened 2.5 point favorites. It went up to, I think I saw as much as 4.5, and now it's back down to 2.5. And for the Rockets, I think they will be pretty healthy in this game. They end up getting blown out against the Clippers. They let the Clippers shoot 54% from the three-point line in that last game. And I think that's why the total's going up, because the Rockets aren't necessarily the greatest three-point defense. Steven Adams and Alfred Sengun, they can do well against players that play in the paint, but they're not as good when teams are hitting three-point shots against them. Now, the Lakers have been god-awful in their last few games, but let's get into the matchup. So the big part here is the injury report. Rui Hachimura should be out there. I think Gabe Vincent will miss this game, and Luka is listed as questionable. I do think that he comes back for this game. He is expected to play. So we got a Rockets team that's 9-8 straight up on the road, 10-7 against the number, only 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. This is their first Christmas Day game since 2019. This is the end of a 6-game road trip for them, which is typically not a bet on spot, but they were in LA against the Clippers in their last game, so not a lot of travel. They've covered just one of their last 8 games. They're 7-2 against the spread, however, on Christmas Day games, though, in the history of them playing Christmas Day games. Then we start looking at my Lakers, 7-4 at home, 6-5 against the number, only 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 games. They play 5 straight Christmas Day games overs, and they're perfect 11-0 to the over when they're playing home games this season, and they failed to cover 3 in a row. Now, JJ Redick did, kind of criticize the team and challenge them to play some defense. Will they be able to against this Rocket team? I would think not, man. I like the Rockets in this game. I think the Rockets will bounce back. They've lost a couple in a row, and they've been to very, very subpar teams. So now you're kind of getting them almost at a pick 'em. I mean, they just need to win the game by possession. I don't really trust the Lakers. You got Austin Reeves coming back off an injury. He's only played 1 game. Then you got, Luka kind of dealing with the injury. LeBron kind of looks like, he's Father Time is slowly but surely catching up with him. The Lakers have been good as home dogs this season, but I would be betting the Rockets to bounce back in this one. I think they're a better team. I'm glad I stayed off them against the Clippers. Didn't expect that from the Clippers. I'm not really sure what to make of it, except the Rockets can't really guard the three-point line. Got lit up in that game, and it is a little bit concerning because you don't want to back a team that's lost to the Kings and then lost to the Pelicans, and, then lose to the Clippers, 3 of the worst teams in the NBA. Maybe they were just looking ahead to this Christmas Day game. I would be on the Rockets if I'm betting this one. I have not betted officially yet, but I mean, 2.5 kind of feels like a pick 'em. So I'd be on the Rockets in this one. I would fade my hometown Lakers. As far as player props, didn't really look into anything at all. So I'll skip this one as far as player props go. We'll get on to the next, which happens to be the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. So initially I'm looking at this line. I'm thinking to myself, man, like, why would I want to lay 8 points with, this Golden State Warriors team? The Warriors have not been good in general. Against the number recently, they are, what are they? The Warriors are 7-6 against the spread in the, overall when they're playing at home. 6-5 if they're laying points at the crib, and just 4-8-1 against the spread in the first half as well. This spot to me, like I initially wrote Dallas first half in my notes, and it still kind of makes sense. The reason why, a big part of it was because I knew that the Warriors were 4-8-1. It feels like until the third quarter happens, they like almost like they don't really care as much. And then, they make adjustments and they kind of get things going. The reason why I pumped the brakes in this one, though, and I didn't mention the injury report, but I do think I was looking at it earlier, and there's a couple guys that could potentially come back in this game. You got Alfred Sengun. I mentioned this, but Alfred Sengun is listed as questionable in that last game. And then you also have Al Horford, who is dealing with a sciatica. He's listed is likely to play. So you get Al Horford back. That's one of the reasons why I do kind of like a play in this game. So, all right, let's talk about it. So Dallas, just 3-9 straight up on the road this season. When they've been on the road, they've been terrible. They come home and they beat Dallas. Just 5-7 against the number. Here's the reason why Dallas could potentially, run out of gas. This is 3rd and 4. It's 4th and 6 for them as well. And all of them have been with travel. They started in Philly. They lost that game, didn't cover the number. Then they played New Orleans. They lost that game, didn't cover the number. The fourth quarter kind of got away from them. Then they came back home. They beat Denver outright, and really it was just because Peyton Watson missed that 3-pointer in the corner, left corner. He should have probably made that. And now they go back on the road to Golden State. It's a terrible spot for Dallas. If you like Dallas, I think you got to kind of get in and get out. Golden State has not been good at home, like I said. They're 9-4 straight up, but only 7-6 against the number, 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 games. And this will be their 3rd straight home game. They haven't had to travel at all. They actually have more time after this game than the Spurs do as well. Than the Dallas Mavericks do as well. So I think if you like Dallas, you probably want to take them early. But ultimately, what I like in this game is I like Quentin Post. I want to go back over the outline really quickly just to show you guys this look that I filmed on Quentin Post. I think this was kind of sniperish in my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. So if we look at Quentin Post, his points prop is listed at 9.5 for this game. Initially I found this look because I know how good the Dallas Mavericks are against the 3-point shot, and Quentin Post scores a majority of his points against the 3-point at the 3-point line. You can see Dallas is number 1 in 3-point defense. Against the center position, they still rank top 10 as well. So this was initially how I started the handicap for Quentin Post. But 9.5 points, if we go here, we click this filter games with player, and we type in Al Horford, who is supposed to be back for this game, we can see that Quentin Post is averaging just 5 points per game with Al Horford on the floor. Now, do we expect Al Horford to play for a allotment of minutes? No, but this is something that I'm willing to bet on. Just 2 of his 10 games so far this season has Quentin Post gone over his number. So under 1.5 threes or under his 9.5 points to me makes a bunch of sense. Dallas is number 6 against the spot up shots in general. They're 6th in defense versus the 3-point shot. Quentin Post is under in 10 of his 13 games this season with Al Horford playing. And this is just the last 10. But if we go here, you can see that he's 3-13. So he's hitting just 23% against the Pacers. Not as good of a defensive team against the Clippers, who started off really, really bad in this game. And I think he played a bunch of minutes in this game as well. So, yeah, he played 24 minutes. I'm expecting Quentin Post, if Al Horford comes back, to play less than 20. And I think that's a big part of it as well. So he's under his 9.5 points with Al Horford in 10 of his 13 games. as well as averaging just 4.7 points per game in those games with Al Horford. He gets 43% of his shot from the above the break three, and Dallas is number 2 against that shot zone. He's under in 15 of his 17 games when he's played 20 minutes or less. On the season, he averages 19. With Al Horford, he averages 13 and a half. So you can see that number right here, 13.6 with Al Horford in. I think Quentin Post stays under his number tomorrow. It's a really tough matchup for him. So that's what I like a little bit more than anything else. If I'm betting the game, I do think if I want Dallas, I definitely want them early. First half, I wrote it down as a lean. I probably won't get there, but Quentin Post, in my opinion, makes the most sense. Next game up, last game on the board, I do have a play in this one. So Minnesota and Denver, game open with Denver laying 5. It's come all the way down to 2.5, 3 now. Total open 230.5, and it's gone all the way up to 239.5. This is one that scares me a little bit as far as when to take it over. So the number one thing in this game is we know Cam Johnson is out. We know Denver will continue to be without Christian Braun as well. And Aaron Gordon continues to be out. So Denver will be a little short-handed here. I think that's probably an opportunity for their bench guys to get a few more minutes in this spot. Minnesota does have Jalen Daniels listed as questionable in this game. He did miss the last game against the New York Knicks. I think they were probably resting him up and saving him for this game. So Minnesota, this is the role, right? This is the role. This is when you want to take Minnesota. They're 8-5 straight up on the road. They're just 5-8 against the spread on the road. 4-6 in their last 10 games. But as road dogs this season, they've won 2 of the 6 games that they played. 3-3 against the number. They covered in OKC the last time that they were road dogs. They've actually covered their last 3 games as road dogs this season. Meanwhile, Denver 9-5 straight up at home, 8-6 against the number, 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games, coming off a most recent loss in Denver. Minnesota also has double in-season revenge. They lost both games early this season. Anthony Edwards was a part of one of those, not a part of the other, and both came in Minnesota. They typically play well when they play in Denver for whatever reason. Last year, I vividly remember this Minnesota team went into Dallas. This is when Dallas still had Luka, and they beat Dallas outright as a 5-point dog. So Minnesota on the road as a dog is typically when you want to bet on them, even if it's Christmas. Denver, this was crazy. I was doing my research. Denver is 2-6 straight up in Christmas Day games, and a perfect or imperfect 0-8 against the number. They've never covered a Christmas Day game, and maybe they finally get one, but they are 0-8 against the number on Christmas Day games. Last season they lost straight up to the and didn't cover the 2.5 against the Phoenix Suns. 2 years ago it was against the Warriors. They won the game. But didn't cover it. And then before that, it was the Suns again. They didn't cover that game as well. So ultimately, what I ended up betting in this game, and well, I guess I'll say this: the all that leads me to, in my opinion, thinking that Minnesota will be able to score. They get a pace-up spot. Denver will want to get up and down the floor. I think if I'm betting Minnesota, yes, they can. I do think they can win the game outright. I do think they have, revenge. All of that stuff comes into consideration. Typically, the road team is a little bit more locked in than the home team is because of the distractions, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think Minnesota's live to win the game. If I'm betting them, I think I like their team total over 117.5. If they're going to have a chance in this game, I think it's going to be because Anthony Edwards goes crazy and, the offense looks good. What I ultimately ended up betting in this game was Anthony Edwards. I took him over his 28.5 points. I went back and looked at it last season. He was up and over the number in all 4 games versus Denver last season. He had 29 points or more in each of those games. And then there was the interview that came out earlier today as well. A recent interview that he did with Shams was released on Shams' X account. He said, "Yeah, Christmas Day gonna be crazy. I'm gonna score 30, maybe even 40 points." And I do think, just based on the matchup, he will. Denver is not a good defense against the pick and roll. That's what they actually bottom 6. Ant gets about a fifth of his points via the pick and roll ball handler. If we look at his most recent game earlier this season, like I said, he only played in one of the 2 games that they played Denver. He shot the ball really, really poorly. He shot 8 for 23 from the field, 0 for 8 from the 3-point line, and still got the 26 points. If Various is on our side, then it should be a pretty easy cash for Anthony Edwards to get to 30. Let's go, Ant, man. I'm assuming that Ant, takes 20 shots. He took 23 in the game earlier this season. He's over so far this season in the 9 of his 14 games when he's taken at least 20 shots, and he's averaging 34 points in those games. So I did play Anthony Edwards over his points prop. That's what I like, man. These are the 3 plays that I made. Knicks team total over 122 and a half. I think they get to 125. Anthony Edwards gets his 30 at least. OKC first quarter. Super double revenge spot. OKC early, and then the leans are here as well. I'm not sure if I'll make any of them. Maybe I'll do a little same fun game parlay. If you guys are interested in the plays that I make outside of these ones, the link is in the description of the video, and I'll send them out to the members. We have been hot. I think I failed to mention this, but we went 1-1 yesterday. I bet Brooklyn plus the 9.5, and they won the game outright against Philly. And then the loser was the Miami Heat. I'm probably gonna stay away from Miami for a while. They just look so lethargic in that game against the Toronto Raptors. We took them first half -2.5, and they were losing the game outright. Just really, like, I'm not sure what's going on with Miami, but I don't want any parts of them anytime soon. But we have been doing pretty well. I think with those 2 games, we're 8-2 in our last 10 bets. We were 7-1 before that. Yeah, so 8-2. Hopefully we can keep the good times rolling, man. Sam Merrill, I like. Caruso, I like. Houston, I like. Quentin Post, the under 9.5 points, and Minnesota team total over 117.5. Probably I put that to the bottom because it's probably the one that I like the least. But if I'm betting that game, that's the way I think I'm betting it. So take this information, man. Do what it is that you want. Make sure you guys check the resources out. Remember that JaXon is free on Christmas completely all day long. So you go, type in whatever prompt, whatever your heart desires, whatever prompt you can come up with. JaXon will give you some information, whether you're betting NBA or NFL or college basketball. JaXon got a little bit of everything. Outlier link is in the description. Money Baller as well, 50% off. Find all your trends, your stats, all that good stuff. And then OddsJam for your sportsbook screen page, 20% off referral code in the description of the video as well. And that'll be it, man. If you made it this far, do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel, drop the show link in the group chat, and turn the notification bell on, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy, Christmas, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man.